Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tactical Devils. I'm your host, Jarvis Cocker, and with me tonight, I have, as usual, my co-host Stu Woolley, and a special guest. We have Rich from Eagle Eye Football, his own football channel covering Crystal Palace. So tonight we are going to ask Rich a lot of questions and try to learn as much as possible before the game tomorrow. I think it's 2
o'clock.
2 o'clock, yes, 2 o'clock kickoff. So I just want to say hi. We have people in the chat already. Stephanie Griffith is in the house, comes in and say vote, like, subscribe, and comment. Elite Baller comes in with United. Danny B comes in. Big up Danny B, Jarvis, and Jay is in the house. Big up Rich, Stu, and Rich. Okay, and Jarvis. I suppose you were about to say, and Elite Baller comes in and always say, big up Jarvis, Adidas, Stu, and Sellers Park. Massive. Yes. So, yes, let's just go into it. And guys and girls, remember to smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Please go to X, retweet, and help us reach out to the people out in the ether. So let's go into it. Tomorrow we have a game. We are on a three games winning streak, and the title of the show is Can it continue? We are up against a Palace team, and I think this Palace team lost their last game 2-1 against Brighton, if I'm right. No, Brentford.
Brentford, yeah. Brentford,
yes, but they have done quite well lately, I believe, and they had a couple of wins. Let's see, the last 5 games for Palace. Let me bring it up for you guys to see. I'll share the screen here. 2 seconds. There we go. So here you see the latest results for both teams. So Palace lost against Brentford 2-1. Let me enhance it a little bit. They won against West Ham 2-0, Leicester 2-0, and Stockport County in the FA Cup, and drew against Chelsea. So, yeah, looking well. Not a lot of goals conceded. I think their defense is pretty tight, and they are doing well. But I heard, Rich, you are having a lot of injuries, struggles at the moment.
Yeah, right? we do, unfortunately. In a week where we thought we need to get some more players in, especially left wing back and potentially centre back cover because of Trevor Chalobah got recalled by Chelsea. Chet Decore, Chadi Riyad both picked up injuries. Eze's picked up a slight knock, so he's not playing either. On the positive front, I don't think any of them will play, but Adam Wharton and Mateus França should be in the squad. I don't think they'll play because I don't think Glasgow will risk it. Okay.
Yeah, because he says Adam Wharton is out with a groin injury and is doubtful.
Yeah, he had groin surgery. So, Glasgow's confirmed he'll be in the squad. But I don't see him playing.
So he's vital for the team. He's most likely have the same role as Ugarte has for our team, don't you think? Playing as the ball-winning number 6.
For us, he's more the ball progressor. Will Hughes has been very good at being the ball winner.
This
season. Yeah. In fact, I don't know what Glasgow's done. Like, don't know what magic potion Glasgow gave him, but he's turned into an absolute quality player this season. But yeah, we do miss Walter because he's the one player on our side, especially from midfield, that I think passes the ball forward quick. He's got a very good knack of being able to see a pass. He'll do it in one touch, and it will just break lines. So it's something that we've kind of lost in our attacking threat, which means our build-up's a bit slower and a bit more calculated and predictable at times.
All right.
But we've managed, after such a poor start to the season, we've turned things around.
But when you say that your build-up looks a little bit slower, do you think it has something to do with you losing Michael Olise? Because when he operated him and Esse in the 210s, I think they both went wide, and when you started building up, they dropped down and moved up again. So they created that extra space for them to be available and easier for the midfielders and then wide centre backs to break the lines with the passes and get it up into attack.
Yeah. losing a player of his quality. I mean, I'm so happy he's doing so well in the Bundesliga and in the Champions League, you know, and he's getting the credit he deserves. Unfortunately, we've seen this in Palace, but because he's at Palace, it's like, oh, it's only Palace. Now he's doing that Bayern Munich. It's like, oh, look at this Bayern Munich player. No, he was a Palace player first. Have some respect. But it did really change. It took us a long time to adapt to not having Michael, because we used to, like you said, have him and him and Eze as very technical and creative players. So defenders didn't know who to cover, because if Elise's got it, they will double up on Elise, will give it to Eze, so we can attack from both sides. We went for a long period of season relying on Eze, and he got double team or triple teamed, and then like all attacks will fall flat. Baylor Sarr's come in, and fair play to him. Like, I think he's played well. He's played really well. He gives us a really good outlet with pace in behind, you know. So hopefully he can obviously continue his rich vein of form tomorrow.
Stu, do you have any thoughts on Palace and the game? Because in my mind, I think Palace has always been like a kind of a bogus team for a lot of big teams. I think especially Manchester City always struggles against Palace, and I also feel that we also struggle when we up. I remember, was it 2 seasons ago we lost? I think it was 4-0 at Selhurst Park, going away.
Yeah, that was about back end of last season.
Yeah, back end of last season. Yeah. So I'm not feeling really confident playing against Palace, but at least we are at home, and we are gaining a little bit of momentum and form now with three victories in a row. So it looks good. So Stu, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's probably the right time to be playing Palace. If there's a right time this season, we've kind of hit lucky with it. We had a really poor start to the season. I think Glasner was probably scratching his head as to why. And the players that you are missing, I agree with Wharton. I think he's a very industrious player. And obviously the loss of Elise has been quite tough on you guys. And I think that was the issue you had at the start of the season, the first 3 to 4 games, trying to understand how you're going to replace Elise, and are you going to change what Glasner wanted to do as opposed to how he's always played, how he's always done his style. The interesting thing for me is pace has been cut down by, it's not his fault, Will Hughes. He's never been a quick player, but he's quite a cute little player on his day. He holds the ball really, really well, distributes quite nicely, good in the tackle, gives it away on the odd occasion, but rarely. But he doesn't try anything Hollywood style. And I quite like that about him. So it allows you to almost build up from the back without Wardson, which I think is a big miss for you. I mean, we looked at him probably in the summer because there's just something about that player. He's almost going to be able to, I think he'll play 6, 8 and 10. I think he's got that ability to play in all 3 positions and hold all 3 positions in the top side because he's quite intelligent. I think he's probably learnt a lot off Will Hughes. I think for us, if I'm being honest with you, I think if we can get at your wing backs, because you've got problems at wing backs, haven't you? I think at this point in time, if we can get at your wing backs, Rich, I think we might have a chance. We're more free flowing with our play than what we were at the beginning of the season. But interestingly enough, what you said pre-show in the green room, we're in this cluster. There's about 6 teams in this cluster right now. We've beaten one of them, Fulham, away. I think we had a really good, solid game against Fulham. And I think it'll be a real tight affair. And it could be 1 goal either side, to be honest. And it could well be your little jack-in-the-box Nketiah that comes off the bench and does the damage for us, because we know that we've got Eze to deal with. We know that we'll have, is it Esse? Esse, have I got that right?
Yeah, Romain Esse from Millwall.
Yeah, a bit of a nightmare, Esse. But I know we're going to have him at points. We've got a very solid goalkeeper in Henderson. We know all of this because obviously he's played with us. He's a really good keeper. And, people will laugh at us about Will Hughes, but if you know your football and you understand football and you understand what he brings to the team, Palace fans have probably embraced him more than I thought you probably would, because he's just dipped around, hasn't he? Watford, yourselves, that type of area of club. But I don't know how old. What is he? Is he mid-30s?
He's 29.
Is he 29? He seems to be around for absolutely ever, doesn't he? Will Hughes, but he's a constant performer. So if we can get on top of your middle three, maybe stop Eze, obviously, then I think we perhaps got a chance, and I think we'll use our wing backs to. And we'll play a lot higher. I think we'll try and push your wing backs back. Is it Tariq Mitchell?
Mitchell.
Yeah, he's playing left wing back.
Yeah, is he fit?
He's fit. Danny Williams is fit. So I'll slightly disagree with your notion about our wing backs. I don't think that's the area which will be. I think if you want to have any joy, attack Chris Richards. He's going to be the right centre back. Because actually, we play the exact same formation as you. Daniel Munoz.
Where's he?
So he's plays right centre back, but funny enough, he's better as a left centre back, which is weird. So what's happened a lot recently, because he's been found out a bit. What do you call it? Maxence Lacroix would have to kind of come over.
Yeah.
And do a lot of like cover work, he's been a sensational signing for us, by the way. Obviously, losing Anderson's another player we lost. We brought him in, and he's fitting. One thing I will say about our fullbacks, they're the polar opposite. Tariq Mitchell is better 1v1 defending.
Yes.
So, and I'm granted, Ahmad's been on form, so that's going to be an interesting little battle if Ahmad plays in that right wing back position. Daniel Munoz will find himself in your penalty area. He'll find himself in your pen. He does that all game. Literally all game. Don't be surprised if it's on the left hand side. He's going to be right up in like the right wing, like right winger's position, wanting the switch. So I don't know who do you have left wing? Dallo. Okay, so that will be interesting how Dallo copes defensively, going the other way.
Yeah, well, we'd be interested. Yeah, that's been he's been our worry. I mean, we've tended to switch just recently. It used to be Mazzari right or Dallo left, and I think now that the way that Mazzari probably played Thursday, he'll probably fit into the one of the back three alongside Martinez. Delict we would consider, so that allows, as you quite rightly say, Ahmad to then come in as right wing back, and then you'll have Dallo left wing back. The reason I said, can we get it to Tariq Mitchell? I understand he's a brilliant defender. I wasn't too worried about him going forward.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about that at all.
That's why we're talking about pushing him back.
Yeah.
I'm a defender, Rich, so I understand that he's an excellent one-on-one. We had it with Wan-Bissaka, and he was our problem. Moving forward.
Yeah, we were hoping to have him come back to us, to be honest, but
I bet you were. Yeah. I bet he'd fit your system beautifully, wouldn't he?
Yes.
I think it'd be a really tight game. I don't think anyone's going to steamroller anybody. But as Jarvis says, you don't concede many goals, but you're a bit like us. You can't really find the net on a regular basis more than twice. And we're in the same boat on that. So it could well be a low-scoring game, but I think it'll be a very tactical game, and I think Glasgow will be really up for it. I think, like I say, with your injuries, I think we probably just hit the sweet spot in terms of playing you. But you've been absolutely sensational the last few games. You really have. Really tough.
I think the big injury, I mean, obviously with Doucouré, Wharton, Riyad, we kind of seen that coming, but Erik Eze missing this game is going to take a little bit away from us. He's actually split our fan base, mainly because he's really slowed up our build-up, play down. Like, we've tried to build up and we're trying to push forward quickly, and he slows it right down. But Glasgow confirmed that he's been playing with a knock since December. Right. So it's just like, well, that's not great, is it?
No, but fair play to him for doing it, Rich, because if you look at our squad, Luke Shaw, if he gets a little fly land on his shoulder, he's out for 6 weeks. Mason Mount, if he looks at the ball, he's out for about another 8 weeks. So at least you've got somebody with some balls, he's willing to play.
Fair enough. I won't complain about injuries.
Honestly, Luke Shaw and fucking Mason, Jesus Christ. It's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. So guys, I just prepared the tactical board, and this is what I got so far. Arrest me if I'm wrong on my predictions on that team. I don't know, Rich. Who do you think will start for Palace?
I think this is spot on.
So you have Henderson in goal. Guehi is most likely your most important defender. I understood that on yesterday's show. You guys praised him very much.
How did
he's really good. But I will tell you, Maxence Lacroix's better. He's unbelievable.
How did you keep Guehi in the summer? Because he was all set to go. I thought it was
how did we manage to? You know what it was? We were expecting him to go, but we set our price, and Newcastle were just dilly-dallying. Like we said, look, it's £65 million with 5 million add-ons. They started with 40. They thought it started with 40, then 45. Do you want to know when they actually met our valuation? With 2 days left of the window to go. So we said no, because we're not going to have time to find a replacement, and if we do, they're going to be like, you've just got 65 million in the bank. We want 65 million for, it was ridiculous. Had they just paid the money, say in the first 2 weeks of the window, we would have said, yeah, he's gone.
Has he kept up his form since the summer then?
Yeah, he struggled a bit at the beginning because the problem we had started the season, one, obviously Glasner didn't get backed by the owners. And two, we had 7 players go to international finals over the summer.
Yeah.
So the 4 England boys, Lerma and Mundius for Colombia, and then Mateta played in the Olympics. Yeah. All of them got rushed back for the start of the season because our owner didn't spend money. So they were effectively playing tired. It's a long season of football. So it did take them up to like a good couple games to get up to speed. We won our first game against Spurs. I think that was game week 8. And since then, we've been flying.
Really, because you're really struggling, weren't you? Right at the bottom.
We had 3 points, and we were 19th in the league. Yeah. And since then, we've accumulated 24 points.
Just before we go into this, then, what do you think the future holds for Glasner?
I'm worried. Yeah. And I'm not even worried more because another team would come in for him. Yeah. I'm worried because he's not being backed. And he will walk. He did it with Frankfurt. Yeah. Frankfurt didn't back him. He walked.
Yeah.
And I think this is the best manager we've had since Steve Coppell. I think he's brilliant.
Well, we all love Stevie Coppell. I'm from that era, Rich. When I was 7, he was R7. He was absolutely
yeah. Steve Coppell, he was one of the best. It's good to see a lot of people turning up in the chat. Yeah. We have Nas coming in and say Munoz is the threat for CP. So has he done well this season, Munoz?
Yeah, I think he's been good. Like I said, he'll find himself in your penalty area at some point.
Yeah,
he's trying to get an assist, trying to score himself. Like he does bomb forward.
Does he?
Yeah.
J United comes in 429 subs. We've been doing this channel for 6 weeks, so we are on the road to 500. So guys, if you haven't subscribed, please give us a sub, and we will try to get monetized when we reach 500. But we won't stop there. We will aim for 1,000, and who knows where we end up.
We'll keep going.
So it's good. Thank you, Jay, for reminding me. And Yale Malmin comes in and say you forgot to add the Rashford in the lineup. Oh, that's right. He's been sent off to Aston Villa. Hope everyone is having a nice day. Big up, Yale. Thank you.
As it stands, they might need him. They're losing to Wolves.
They're losing. Yeah. Is it still 1-0? Is it, Rich?
Still 1-0. 93rd minute now. 4 minutes to go. Time.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting thing, isn't it? That's Manchester United saying you'll go where we can get rid of you, which is really interesting.
Can I ask your thoughts on Rashford? Because Obviously, he's come through your academy, and that. But I think there's been a lot made of his lack of work rate, and stuff like that. Is that what's actually happening, or are people just kind of focusing on that nitpicking? Like, what is it with Rashford?
He's got a massive attitude problem, and what me and Jarvis, and we try not to talk about it too much, to be honest, Rich, but we're happy to do it. What me and Jarvis feel is that what was the tipping point that changed for him? Because 3 years ago, he was front and center in the press. He was doing all his charity work. He was helping children, underprivileged kids, and he was made a really big thing about it. And we were delighted as a football club to have that associated with us. But there's so many rumours that are coming in and out of he's fallen out with X, Y, and Z manager. He doesn't train hard enough. He's got an entourage around him now since he's really earned the big money. Although he was on 200 grand a week, by the way, and he was feeding the children. He's now on 320, whatever it is. I'm not really sure what an extra 100 grand a week is going to do to his lifestyle, when you're on 200 grand a week anyway. I mean, Jarvis, we spoke about it. We're just a little bit perplexed. So my solution, and I've always been like this, because playing football is an absolute privilege. Playing for Manchester United is a huge privilege, but playing football as a whole is a privilege. And money changes people. I get that. It's no big deal. It's just life. But I'd stick in front and centre, Rich. I would have put him front and centre, made him captain, and let the press eat away at him. That's what I would have done. You've got to. If you bow down to these players, I'm talking football in general here. I'm not just talking Rashford. I'm talking football in general. If you bow down to these players and allow them to get a grip of the club, then you're just going to be in problems. And that has been our issue for the last 10 years. We've had it with Sancho. We've had it with Alexis Sanchez. We've just had it with player after player after player after player. We give them these big contracts and they don't care. Even Mo Salah at Liverpool, when he signed his, for 6 to 8 months, he got off the ball, wasn't interested. And then all of a sudden, he re-sparked back into life. If Marcus Rashford ends up at Aston Villa, there is a big, big problem for him. And he should really take a look at himself and think, what the hell? I've just gone from Manchester United. I know they're better than us at this point in time. But sometimes you've got to look at, and I don't mean disrespectful to any club, the size of the club. He was holding out for Barcelona. If Barcelona wanted him, they would have pushed somebody out and brought him in. People don't want him. He's got nowhere to go. He can't sit in the reserves at Manchester United. He's got to start playing football. And the other thing that really pisses me off more than anything, and I brought up Will Hughes as an example of a real professional footballer. He's got attributes, but he knows what his attributes are, and he makes the very best of his attributes. He's still thought Will Hughes were doing in the Premier League, still getting regular game time in whether it's coming on the bench or starting due to your injury issues. He's getting regular game time. He's in that squad, and he works hard every day. And we just don't have enough of that in our club, and I don't think there's enough of it in and around football as a whole. So I think clubs themselves allowed agents to ingrain themselves into the clubs, get at players. And as soon as agents, Rich, were getting paid 10% of a 20 million contract, agents then see greed and they start pushing and getting the claws into these players. And before you know it, the club's a mess. So somebody needs to do something. And I quite like what Amorim's doing. But I would have embarrassed him. I would have put him front and centre. You can talk to the media now because they're going to ask you everything. And you've got to push something back on a player sometimes. And that's just my take on it. Jarvis, I know you've got an opinion, haven't you, pal?
Yeah, I try to avoid the Rashford topic just because I think it's too toxic. I think it's too divisive for the club. And I feel I can sit there and piss and moan about Rashford, but at the end of the day, whatever reason, he's not performing, and that's the biggest problem. And he's one of our highest earners. And when you consistently don't perform for season after season, something has to give. And for me, I think it's good for Man United just if we can get rid of him. I don't know about all these other reasons we all heard about the nightclubs and all that other stuff. I don't know if it's true or not. It's so many media people now, PR and from both sides. So whatever happens. But he's not performing, and I don't think he will perform when he goes to Villa either. I think his career is over as a top player. I think he still can perform in the Premier League, but not as the level we have seen. And also, I think I think a lot of people overhyped him in a way. He wasn't that good in the first place. And also when it comes to injuries, 3-4 years ago, we could see him constantly sprint. I remember first half a season when Ollie came in, he really performed well. That was high press, high sprint, high octane football. But I think Ollie overplayed him. We all heard he played through injuries, and then he was brought into the World Cup squad. The Euro squad with injured. So he didn't get a real preseason. He missed that penalty in the final, and he hasn't been himself since that, I would say. So it's a sad story in a way. It could have been much more, but I think it's good for him to change the environment and go to Aston Villa, go to Birmingham, try another life, And I think his entourage in Manchester are not doing him any favors. So how do you see it as a Palace fan from the outside?
There's something about America that turned his head. I don't know what it is, and obviously I'm just going by what the media have shown, but it looked like he just rather be in an NBA game, And then obviously, like I said, I've seen like these clips, and like I said, it's easy to have them in isolation, but I think I've seen it all too often. He doesn't press, or like if someone runs past him, he just walks. It was really weird. I was like, is this kind of an injury? Does he not care? What is it? Like, obviously, like you said, the Rashford that was running for England, running for Man United, it's not the same Marcus Rashford.
No.
Don't get me wrong. As a Palace fan, if he was, we don't have 320 grand to throw away, but if he wanted to come to Palace, we're not going to say no, But there was something. Yeah, something's wrong.
The interesting thing about it is, Rich, and Jarvis makes a great point about when Ollie came in, he started, we were sprinting to stuff. Years ago when Michael Owen had his hamstring injury, he had to adapt his game. Ryan Giggs had to adapt his game. I don't see players adapting their game anymore to try and combat injuries. And I think in today's, but look, there wasn't social media back then. When Giggsy was, driving around Subaru Imprezas and couldn't, the clutch was too strong for his hamstring, so we couldn't do that and things of that nature. Today, social media just has taken over everybody's lives. It just doesn't matter, but I don't see players adapting to try and stay fit anymore. And I'm a big believer that fitness comes from within. You the only way you can stay, your body, what you put in your body, what tears you're going to get, because you're the one that's feeling it. And if you're not communicating that, or you can't be bothered to change your regime in some way to help combat these issues, then they're going to go, I've got an issue. Again, it isn't to do with Rashford. That's just a generalisation on football. Eddie Nketiah, I think, is a really good example of a young lad who just cannot combat his injuries. He tries, and I don't know what he's been like for Palace. I don't know if he's been injury free or not, but I don't know whether he's doing anything to help himself. I can tell you Mason Mount isn't. I can tell you Luke Shaw isn't. So I just
Eddie Nketiah has been injury free. He just doesn't fit the system. He's a number 9, and Glasner's tried him on both 10 positions, and I don't think it works. However, I think the last couple of games where he's come off the bench, he's had a real impact just running in behind defenses. So if that's how he has to play 30 minutes here, 35 minutes there, and just do that for the meantime, so be it. But Jean-Philippe Mateta is the number 9, and he's doing a great job, so he can't be dropped.
Yeah. No, and that's how it should be, though. That's what football's all about. You take your chance, you grasp it with both hands. And again, this is a source of frustration for Manchester United fans. Again, with other players, they're not really grasping their opportunities. The only real difference we've seen just recently is Garnacho's attitude to when he was dropped initially with Rashford. He's come back a completely different player now, and he's less head down and more concentrated on what he does, as opposed to just trying to get to the byline and just whip anything in. He's a bit more considered. He's a bit more measured in his approach. One of the things I thought, by the way, made Elise stand out. He was very measured and very considered when he got into certain areas. When he was young, he was a little bit rash. They all are, aren't they? But what he's doing now at Bayern particularly, wow, it's great. I agree with you. I think as a Palace fan, it must be hard but quite warming at the same time.
Yaleman Min comes in. You say, don't forget to give tactical devils a like, guys. Jarvis deserves them likes. Stu, I don't know that. Old coffee stain on the carpet. All right, it's gone now. I'm joking.
It's gone. It's gone. Yes. I just to put you in a picture. I was talking about footy boots and the different types of studs I have with my football boots that I use during the week and matches and that. And I'd spilled some coffee on it, like literally about an hour before, and I didn't get a chance to get the coffee up. So as I was picking my boots up the old coffee stick, I'd forgot Yarlem and me knew about that. So.
But by the way, the chats always rinse us, me and Stu. That's part of our culture.
I'm here for banter.
Yeah, it's a shame. Trev Wade is brilliant. Trev gives me absolute pelters. He's a great guy. The chat, all of our chat are absolutely brilliant. They're very well seasoned in football, very knowledgeable. We like to have a good laugh with us as well, which is great.
Dave comes in and with a question. Palace has improved greatly recently. Ismail Sarr has been instrumental, and Sarr has been one of the better ones. He came from, was it Watford or?
So he went to Marseille. So we signed him from Marseille. But yeah, he's been brilliant as of late. Like I said, he just gives us another option in just running in behind, But what he's done really, really well lately is that he's dropped deep and he's picking up the ball and he's driving with the ball. Now, so if he can find that the space in between your midfield and the defenders, that's the space he's trying to occupy and just run with the ball. So hopefully we get a bit of joy with that. Obviously, I know Lisandro Martinez has had his few battles with Adama Traore lately, so hopefully Sarr can get the better of him in the physicality side. But
he was absolute quality against Traore. He stood up to him brilliantly. We were joking about it actually, Rich, because they put a close up of him and he sits up and he looked like where the fuck am I? He'd been absolutely smashed by this freight train. But what we liked about it was he made this. He decided, I'm just gonna have a go at you. I don't care. And he tried, but Traore swatted him off like a fly. Kind of stood over him. It was absolutely brilliant. I've got to say, thank you. Got to say,
the dog is one of our guys. He's a top guy.
So, big up, dog. Big up. Thank you for that comment.
Thank you.
So, it will be an interesting game tomorrow. I want to go back to the tactical board. We talked a little bit about it, but we have seen Man United now lately. Last game against Steaua Bucharest in the Europa League, we played Mainoo in the 10, and he actually was I would say fantastic. He was the engine of everything happening. The way he moved, always available. He was press resistive. He could keep the ball going and click-clacking it and combination play, being available all the time. So, in a way, if I was Palace, Oliver Glasner tomorrow, I would keep an eye out for Mainoo and figure out how to actually stop him, because he was so instrumental for the way we played. So if we can see and if he can replicate that, performance as he did the other day, I think it will be difficult for Palace to stop Man United. So Mainoo in the 10, and it came out of nowhere. He's been playing as a number 8 box to box in the double pivot, but suddenly he got a chance to play in the 10. And for example, Noradin has been stating all the time he's been following Kobbie since he was a young guy, and he said he's a 10, no doubt about it. I doubted it myself, but Noradin was right. As always, he knows his football. So that will be one to look out for in tomorrow with Mainoo in the 10. But now we have both Mainoo, Ahmad. You have 2 really good number 10s. So do you think it will be difficult? Lerma, Hughes, will they be able to stop them? Because they will go in between the channels, the outer channels, inner channels, operate almost everywhere and be the playmakers, almost like last season when you guys had Esse and Ulisse. It will be a difficult one.
Yeah. See, this question is a tough one because I don't know if we want Hughes or Lerma to be dealing with Ahmad or Mainoo. I think we're going to want to trust our centre backs.
All right.
To do with that. So I'm thinking more so if Ahmad plays in the 10, Mark Gay's going to have a job on his hands. Like he is a good defender, but Ahmad's he's been good. Let's be honest, he's been good. So same with Mainoo. I think Richards will pick him up. The reason being is because I see Glasner sticking Will Hughes right on Bruno Fernandes.
Okay.
Because I know obviously quite a lot of the football goes through him. So he's going to want to try and stop it at source. Bruno's the type of player, from what I can see, that he can whip a ball in with one touch. He's always trying to get the ball behind quickly, and he loves to take shots as well. So I think he's going to want to trust the centre backs to deal with the front three. This is what I'm saying regarding Chris Richards. If it was Garnacho there, I would worry because he's got that nimble foot, and Richards does struggle with like either a bit of pace or quick turn of foot. Gahey, like I said, is brilliant. So him against Ahmad will be an incredible little battle.
But I think you will see we will experience Ahmad moving this way and Masraoui moving this way. So
which is fine.
So I think Ahmad will be operating more up against Mitchell, and Masraoui will.
So Masraoui's going to underlap.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Which is fine. It's just as long as Mitchell and Gay just communicate that.
Let me just put a caveat. I expect Garnacho to start.
Okay.
I don't expect Maguire in there. I expect Mazzari in place of Delete. Yeah.
Okay. And Ahmad in the right wing back then.
Yeah, that's what I expect tomorrow. I've just got a feeling he'll start Garnacho. I agree. I think
so. You will be something like this and Garnacho up here.
Yeah, I think Mainoo plays a 10. Absolutely. Our problem when Bruno is, I think against Palace in particular, if he plays deep, if he plays an 8, I think he'll go wandering.
And I was going to make that point. Yeah, this is what I thought that Ismail Assar is going to be key for us because Bruno is good, but that leaves holes.
Correct.
And that, I mean, as much as we miss Wharton, Hughes has done better in trying to play quicker.
Yeah.
And fun enough, Daichi Kamada, who's had such a wobbly season for us, he's very good at, like I said, finding those little pockets as well.
Yeah.
So as long as he gets his confidence up to just drive with the ball, I think it's going to be very key getting in anything between the edge of the center circle and the edge of the D. That area there is going to be very key for us.
No, I agree. Now, against Stour, Jarvis picked it up more than myself. Mainoo operated mainly on the left. So he will potentially occupy Richards. It depends for us, and the key to our movement of our front. I'm going to say front two, talking Garnacho and Mainoo. He's like
against. Sorry for interrupting, but against Stoya, it was more like this, I would say, almost because Collier or Ugarte were alone as the 6.
But Mainoo was more. Yeah, Mainoo was more pushed up on the left, wasn't he? Now, what will be interesting for me is how Højlund moves against your back three. Can he occupy your back three? Can he keep them on their toes? And if he can keep them on their toes, that'll give us that little bit extra space in behind Hughes and in behind Lerma for the likes of Garnacho or Mainoo. And that will be interesting for me. So I think those middle third, final, right at the tip of the middle third on each side will be the key to the game.
Can I be expecting Lequard to not give him a sniff?
Well, no. I mean, it's going to be interesting for us. It really is. But if he's not going to get that sniff, Rich, he's got to push himself on Gay, or he's got to push himself on Rich.
I would be more worried if you played Xerxes, and the reason being is he does drop off into those pockets, and as a defender, that's harder to defend again.
Yeah, he does.
And he's actually pretty good at linking play. So as Højlund, he wants to be up against the last man, and I'm happy with Lequard dealing with that, to be honest.
So what's is Lequard good in the air? Is he? What's his strengths?
Everything. He's really good. I mean, if I'm going to have any criticism of his, is sometimes if he has too much time on the ball, because he wants to play that cutting pass, he may play the wrong cutting pass, if that makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
But that's only if he has way too much, and that's rare for a team like Palace. Like, most of the time, we'll try to move the ball quite quick.
Yeah.
He's brilliant.
We know we've got an issue with Rasmus. We do talk about it. We talk about his lack of movement, his lack of really pressing a centre half. I'd like to see him press more, really play on the shoulder, just to see how get caught offside. I don't care, but just press that shoulder. He doesn't look across the line enough for us, and he doesn't arc in his runs enough for us either. However, we've gone to this stage now with both our Garnacho and Ahmad as an example. They're putting cutback passes in rather than going across goal. First time in a while on Thursday night against Stoy, we actually went across goal and we got the Dallo finish. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know what I just think he'll start Garnacho. I can't tell you why. I just think he will.
Yeah. It could be. Depends, but do you think there will be much space for us to run into when we play against Palace? Because that's my worry when it comes to Rashford. Because if there's not space, I don't see him doing anything. Because he's a road runner. He's a road runner.
Yeah, he's got to make the space. But we say this all the time, don't we? And I know it's easy to sit here and say you've got to make the space, but he has. And if particular, we can get at maybe Richards if you think he's a weak link, Richard. It's all right to call you Rich, by the way. Or is it Richard? Do you prefer Rich or Richard?
I definitely prefer Rich. Whenever I got called Richard growing up, I was always getting into trouble. So,
okay. Oh, fair enough, Richard. Yeah, no. What I mean by that is if we could get him isolated in the kind of wing back position, because your wing back's pulled in, we can get Richard isolated there. Then Garnacho can either skin him or go for the penalty. That's what I'd like to see. But there could be issues there. But
something like this, you want to isolate him here.
Yeah, you already
drag him outside and create this space here for maybe Bruno, Højlund, especially Højlund and diagonals.
It's very interesting because this is what happened against Chelsea, and Glasner made a tactical change. Like he just tweaked. He made sure that Munoz then dropped in between Richards and Lequard.
So he
just made that little change up just to have protection.
Fill the gap there.
Yeah, because what was happening was that Lequard was the one always coming across.
Yeah,
which left a bigger hole in the middle. What did Jay would have to come across, and then
what did you use for your outlet then, Rich? If you don't mind me asking, on the right hand side, because you're absolutely right. If you were to put Munoz in or Munoz in between Richards and then you've got
what had happened, especially second half, is that Sarr then dropped in.
He pulls in wide
to where Munoz was, so he pushed a little bit out of. And before he was right up against the fullback or the centre back. He dropped and played a lot deeper and carried the ball. And that was the difference against Chelsea second half. We could have had about 3 or 4 goals. Granted, we could have been 3 or 4 down in the first half.
Would that worry you, though, with Bruno on the pitch?
No, because I don't mind Saar running at like the likes of a Bruno.
Okay.
Because I think Bruno will take a yellow.
Oh, God, yeah.
In that instance. Yeah, I don't think Bruno Fernandes running towards his own goal is good for anybody.
No.
Personally, I don't know how you like. So him playing in that deeper position, I'm happy about that. If he was playing in one of the 10s, I'll be worried because that's where his creative spark is. You know, so yeah.
What you'll notice with me and Jarvis, Rich, is Jarvis can read my mind. So when he puts a tactical board up, he's already got Garnacho. He knows where I want him to be.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. But the point you made about Mainoo is really interesting. Really interesting. But, we were talking about Højlund. He should be in there blocking Munez's path into that area. He should be there, looking for it. Ahmad coming into the back stick. And then Mainoo coming in to occupy as many of your defensive quads as we can, or quintet as we can. He doesn't do that. So if we allow Munez to go in there, then that's our fault. We've got a problem there. We've got to be there and stopping him. So do you think Mainoo would operate that side though, Jarvis, like he did on Thursday?
He could. I think Mainoo is... I think Mainoo has an ability to read the game and understand where to move because he's so football intelligent. So if there's a pocket, if there's space, he will go there. I just want to show. I saw that I heard that you mentioned Bruno defensively, Rich, and I want you to take a look at this clip. We showed it after the Steaua Bucharest game, and this is what worries me with Bruno when it comes to him operating as a number 8 when it comes to defensive play. You see here Bruno. And I think it's De Ligt who clears the ball, and here is Bruno trying to receive the ball, and you see with his back against the goal, he's so weak, and that's terrible as a midfielder. If you have defensive responsibility,
this is what you don't want because Mateta's going to be wanting that. He's going to be frightened. That final pass, is what we've been working on a lot on the break, because. Right here, this is a position where I said Saar likes to pick it up and run now. And Mateta will do the exact same thing and be on his bike.
Yes.
That sounds good. But could you pull it back like towards the beginning of the clip for when they first kick it forward? Because I was pretty interested. And pause it there.
Oh.
That gap is, if you're leaving Nagati on his own in the middle of the park, that could be a big problem for you.
Yeah, you see in this instance, it's Toby Collier who's alone here, and you get a huge gap. So the distance between the two, the double pivot should never be this big. So that's what you get with Bruno, and I would like Bruno closer to Collier. And they are not going to be on a straight line, but they have to be like in a pivot, in a staggered. In a way, when they operate, but this is too much. And when it comes to the sequence itself, you see here, I'm just gonna slow it more down for you guys to see. I don't know if you can see it, but the way Bruno angles his body, it's not how you receive the ball. And look here how easily gets pushed off the ball by the number 7. As a midfielder for United, that's not good enough for me. So I think he has a lot to work on, and this worries me a lot when we put Bruno in the 8. We will see situations like this.
Yeah, he's a funny one, isn't he, Bruno? Because we know that he's better employed probably as a 10. I think at the moment, the balance that we've got, and if we don't play Maguire, and we put De Ligt up against Mateta, potentially, I think it'll be an interesting battle. That then the onus will be on Bruno to plug that gap. but he will go wandering. There's zero ways about it. He will go wandering. So that might actually curtail Mainoo and Mainoo's ability to influence the game if he's, having to drop in to cover for Bruno. So I think Amorim will be wondering and be thinking about how he combats that and what he does with that. And it could well be that Mainoo comes out and he pops Eriksen in there because Eriksen will be more stable within there. Now, he will know, Amorim, what he's up against. He will know about Lerma and Hughes. He'll know about Sarr's running ability. Now, although Eriksen hasn't got pace, he's got positional sense. So he may then look to allow Bruno to hurt you potentially within that the final or the top end of the middle third, so to speak, where you're talking about Sarr picking up the play. But again, it's just one of those. I don't think he will drop Mainoo, guys. I think it'll be very tough on Mainoo. So I don't think that Eriksen comes in. I was just offering that as a solution to maybe allow a bit more cover with Agate.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat actually made a really good point, Jarvis, and I'm wondering whether or not you picked the team based on that. And it was about without Maguire being there. They were saying that Mateta would have an absolute bulldozer of a field day. But would you not, Rich? Would you not consider De Ligt would be able to stand up to Mateta?
To be fair, the form that Mateta's on, he fancies himself against anyone. To be honest, I would say De Ligt will be a better fit because of recovery pace. That's the one thing that you don't want Mateta running in behind through and goal.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So that will be one of the key areas. Like I said, it kind of all depends. You might end up tactically trying to just set traps and maybe set up as a mid block and hit us on the break.
Well, we're not good in the mid block. We don't seem to get our press right. We are very disjointed when we press in the mid block. So we are better pressing high or just dropping down in the back five and a flat four. So
you're erratic there.
Yeah.
And what's your build-up play like? Because I know Onana likes giving the ball to opposition.
It's terrible. Our build-up play is awful.
So we might press. Interesting.
Yes.
Because there are times we have pressed.
I tell you now, if we play Maguire, you'll press. I promise you now. If we don't, you might not press as high up as you normally would. But I think if Maguire's in there, you'll press because he's had a tendency to get caught on the ball a little bit. And Onana, on the odd occasion, will do some just lob it into Maguire when Maguire's got two people around him. That's not his game, not what he's there for. So we've got a couple of live wires in his tens. Amorim may consider that's not worth the risk. I don't know. It's difficult to say.
When it comes to the build-up play, I think just to explain it simple, we tend to play with the two deep number sixes and push the wing backs a little bit higher, and Garnacho and Mainoo will be here. So we will try to drag the opposition to one side and zigzag the ball over to the other side to play under pressure and then utilize the wing back and a dropping number 10 and then we are carrying the ball into attack in the open space because the opposition will be here. So that's the Amorim plan, and we really struggle with this. We don't have the courage to keep the ball under pressure, but we can do it. And I have a clip here from the Fulham game that shows how it should be done. So you can have a look here. I don't know if you remember this, Stu. You see, we have a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Bruno is deep, playing Maguire. You see, he's under pressure, getting chased all the time. Same with Martinez. but we want to drag the opposition high so we
First
can
time
get the
touched
space.
by Garnacho, wasn't it? Lovely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there we have the space. So this is how we prefer. I think Amorim preferred to build up.
He held on to the ball there too long, didn't he, Bruno? He should have moved it into Højlund's feet. But
it wasn't perfect, but I think this is the Amorim way. If I the best I've seen so far, at least.
Our problem is if you go back to that clip, you're seeing how awkward Maguire looks when he's trying to have that ball in his, and that's our biggest issue, and this is why I feel, particularly tomorrow, De Ligt will get the nod and Mateta over Maguire, because he just looks awkward. He looks nervous, and it's a terrible ball into Martinez anyway. But Martinez got out of it well. Garnacho first touch, and we're gone.
Yeah.
The other thing to note about that is we talk about Bruno going wandering a lot, but he's the one that picks up the ball from the Garnacho. And look where he was at the beginning of that particular move. So he's come across nicely. He's followed the play across, which is absolutely great. That's exactly what Eriksen does. He'll follow the play well, and he's got a great range of passing with him. I'm not saying, I know there's a lot in the chat saying don't start Eriksen. It's not about whether you start him or not. I'm not saying he's the answer to us, and I'm not saying he's better than Mainoo, etc., etc., etc. That's not what I was saying. He might consider Eriksen to be a safer pair of hands in a game of football against Palace than Mainoo. That's your difference.
Well, it depends what you want to prioritize. But if you want to prioritize two sitting number, a double pivot with the ball playing regista in a way, Eriksen could fit that role.
He would be perfect for it. But I think he's going to want to attack Palace, at the back. I think that's what he's going to do, and I think that's why he runs with Garnacho and Mainoo on that one.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I was saying.
I agree. I'm just going to check. We have how many likes we are at the moment.
Where are we? I haven't looked.
Have you checked? Let's see. No, I can't even find the video. I have to check my phone. So here it is. Yeah, we are on. No, we're not. So anyone in the chat can give me the like count. But by the way, let's go to we are 1 hour into the show, so we are ending the show soon. So I just want to say, what's your match goal prediction, and who will be the goal scorers, Rich?
Even before we heard about Eze, I was going to say 2-1 Palace, and I'm going to stick with it just on the basis I think we can hurt you on the counter attack. Goal scorers, I'm going to go Ismaila Sarr and Mateta for Palace.
Okay.
Mateta. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, a lot of the guys are saying play Maguire. I can see that, and I think it's the Mateta matchup, and I do agree with that because he's great. Is Mateta good in the air?
Yeah, and he's improved his hold-up play too.
He's good in the air.
He's doing a lot better.
So maybe he play, like you say, Maguire, Mateta. It's a good matchup. So I'm wondering whether was that why you went with Maguire, Jarvis?
Yeah, I think Maguire is our best central centre back. I think he's central centre back. I think he's strong, and you always have cover. I think he's good on the ball, so you can't just leave him there. I think he can find the pass, and he's strong. He's strong aerially, and I think he can deal with Mateta. I don't know how much Mateta drops down and try to be a receiving number 9, and 9.5. I remember it was the last season he came into a kind of a fight with, who was it? Mateta and one of the Man United centre backs last season.
I can't remember.
No, well, but Mateta is a guy who likes a fight. He likes to be involved with the centre back, and I think Maguire is up for it.
Maguire would enjoy that. He likes.
Yeah, I think so.
To answer your question, against Aston Villa, Mateta did that a lot. He dropped 5-10 yards, and then set the ball to Sarr or Devaney, who was playing at the time, to to just
Or
run in
does he
behind.
just lay off the ball, or does he turn with the ball and drive
It
it?
depends on the situation. It all depends. So there's times
Okay.
where he would lay it off one touch, and then we've got runners, or he'll turn and he might be the one that played. So I think he played the through ball to Sarr when we went through against Villa, and Sarr scored.
Right, so that's Mateta, was it? Okay.
Yeah, so there are times where he does drop deep as well. So it's all dependent on how the game plays. And if we play and he did that against West Ham actually recently, where he's the one that played the ball through to Nketiah, who won the penalty.
Okay.
So I think that's where I think he should play that way tomorrow. Drop deep, turn, run with the ball, play through balls. He's been doing that really well lately.
But we play with the back three, so it's up to the centre back to have the courage, be aggressive, and follow the dropping striker and not letting him turn. Always be following all the way to the midfield and even deeper if necessary. So, but we have seen Martinez doing this. Maguire sometimes against City, he did it all the time. But other games, he's not. So I don't know what we get with Maguire, but he can do it. So I really hope that he starts. And also Ariel, we know we have been struggling when it comes to corner kicks and set pieces. I don't know how Palace have done this season on set pieces. Have they scored many
a
goals?
lot better. We had a horrible stat. Like I think we went so many days without scoring from a corner.
Okay.
We're now the second highest scoring side of the league.
Yeah,
we're behind Arsenal now regarding set pieces.
Oh, great. Oh, brilliant.
So we've definitely improved in that area.
Yeah. Well, that worries me a little bit because we really struggle when it comes to corner kicks, especially if Onana starts. I don't know, Stu, do you think Onana will start tomorrow, or do you see Bayindir in goal?
No, unfortunately, I don't. I think Onana starts.
Yeah, because I think Onana's been terrible under Amorim.
I think he's. Unfortunately, I think he starts, pal.
Yeah.
My score prediction. Sorry, I think it will be. I think it's going to be massively tight. I go the other way, Rich. I think we might beat you 2-1. I think we might just get over the line. I think we're a bit more better as a collective unit at the moment. And if he doesn't make the changes that we think he'll make them, and he keeps it quite close to what we played against Stoya, might be interesting. I think we might just win it 2-1, and I'm going to go for Højlund to break his mini duck that he's on at the moment. Header, bang, get in. Garnacho to get us a pen. Yeah.
2-1 Man United.
It's going to be tough. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It is. It's one of those games. I think it's really difficult to call either way. Same with Fulham. I think we beat Fulham 2-0 and we just got over the line.
For me, when it comes to the match prediction, I think Amorim's game plan so far has been just to play out the first 60 minutes, keeping things tight, don't open up, and then impact the game with subs and change up small tactical stuff and then get the result at the end of the game. So I think we could see something similar, 0-0 until halftime. A couple of subs, maybe impact subs with Garnacho in the 55th, 60th minute and maybe change the game. So it will be tight. I agree. And I hope that Man United will win the game 1-0 or 2-1. Goal scorers, I think Mainoo looked really good. I think he will continue his form. So Mainoo will get 1 goal and maybe Garnacho. I think Garnacho looks like he has something to prove now. Being linked away and everything. I think he has made up his mind. I think he wants to stay, and I think he wants to fight. I think he wants to fight for his place. So I think he's got his head straight and is doing the right thing now, and putting everything into training hard and doing as good as he can every time he gets the chance. So it will be interesting to see. Rich, how do you see Palace ending up this season? Do you think they will stay up, or is it any danger for them going down?
Not anymore. I think we're starting to see the teams that are really struggling. Are really struggling.
I'd say that, yeah.
You know, in Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester, they're really struggling.
Yeah,
the
Leicester.
fact that Southampton beat Ipswich today was like, wait, what?
And Leicester were well beaten as well, weren't they? By Everton.
Yeah,
Leicester well beaten by Everton. 3-0.
4-0.
No, 4-0 was it?
4, yeah.
Yeah, right. Where were all Everton's goals coming from?
Well, David Moyes has worked wonders already. I'm so
Hasn't he
annoyed. We've got them on the 15th. I was just, why couldn't Daesh stay until
stay to the 15th, 16th, get rid of him on the 16th,
So I think we'll be all right. The weird thing, I don't know if you're able to get the league table up, but I'm sure for both our clubs, because obviously I know you're 2 points ahead of us.
We're about 2 points ahead of you, but you're
eighth place is like what, maybe 10 points away from us and 8 from you. So it's not the.
It's closer than that, isn't it? We're on 20.
United are on 29 and Palace 27.
Yeah, closer than that, yeah.
And 8th is who's Villa at the moment, right? And they've got 30.
Yeah, they lost today, didn't they? They're on 36. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that we're gonna, but just looking at the points, it's crazy that for a team like us, we're only 10 points off 8th.
Yes.
Even for us, considering our start. So it's just taking it one game at a time. If we can, let's see who we got. We've got you guys, Everton, Fulham, and Villa. I think are our next 4.
Yeah.
So if we could, they're not easy games. No. If we can get anything from 6, if we can get 6 points, if we somehow get 2 wins, we're looking all right.
Yeah.
Well, we've said this. We haven't moved. Between 12th and 14th. We've been on there for the last 4 weeks. We haven't moved. Even when we lost games, we haven't moved. So if we can keep our momentum going, we can start to climb. And it's not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination. No. It really isn't. It's a very, very tight league. But if you look at everything else, Wolves down there.
Jeez, we've got the same goal difference.
Yeah. They're not cut adrift yet, are they, Wolves? But they're Leicester.
That was a massive win for them today.
Huge win. Look at Tottenham. And Everton have moved from bottom 3 to 15. Yeah. Anything can happen. 2 wins, 6 points, really puts you
changes
right. It changes everything. So it'd be really interesting.
It will. Personally, I always liked Crystal Palace. You know, I remember back in the late 80s and the 90s, beginning of the 90s, you had a lot of good players. And I remember the FA Cup final. We played 3-3, I believe, the game with was it Mark Hughes scored a couple of goals?
Wright scored, didn't he?
Right. Salako scored a goal or 2.
And with the mighty Lee Martin.
Yes. Can we not discuss FA Cup finals, please? Because if that was bad enough, 2016 was even worse.
Oh yeah, Pardew's dance. Yeah,
Jason Mark Clattenburg with his brown paper bag. That's what we'll talk about.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Don't forget, you had Big Pards score a couple for you, didn't you, on the odd occasion? Yeah. Big Gareth Southgate, bless him. You know, the old Right and Bright era was big. Salako, you know, in his day, he had some things to really, really good players. You had the greatest goalkeeper attire ever to grace the Premier League. Is it Kirai? And those
double Kirali.
Those great joggers. I mean,
with his tracky bottoms.
Yeah, I mean, he was a good keeper. He was a really good keeper. He just looked weird, didn't he? But, that was his bag and stuff of that nature. Some really good, solid defenders. You know, and you're a footballing side now as well, which, you know, Palace were never renowned for being a footballing side. Yeah, but you're a footballing side now, so it'll be an interesting game. My lad will be there. He's looking forward to it. So,
quick question from bath time: how do you view Erik Cantona?
Yeah, we don't like him.
Granted,
there is more and more word that and I'm not saying that what Cantona did was right in the grand scheme of him being a professional footballer at the time, but apparently that fan was being racist. I don't know how true that was. But if he's kicking racism out of football, then I fair enough.
I was in the grounds. I was in the ground that night, and we could see the commotion. It was weird. It was absolutely nuts. And the story is, Lee Sharp tells it brilliantly. He goes that it was a bad night. It was a tough old game. We were just kicking lumps out of each other, really kicking lumps out of each other. And he was being whatever, I think he was being racist. I think that's what he was. Okay. And Sharpie says, I can't remember what the score was at the time. Actually, I really can't. But Sharpie said we went in at full time, and we thought Erik's got us out of trouble here, And Sharpie said Fergie absolutely went for the players, big time Fergie style, and then turned around to Erik and said, "Erik, you can't do that. You can't just jump into quite calmly. You can't just jump into the bag." It was that's what Sharpie says. I mean, you just don't know. But I mean, the pitch back then, it was all cut up, wasn't it? Because you went to showing the ground with Wimbledon back then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all cut up. Vinnie Jones, so probably the night before, but good old Vinnie Jones. But
I have a footage from another Erik Cantona tackle that's even almost worse than the. It was from his time in Auxerre, I think, when he played in France before he came to Leeds and the Premier League. It's a crazy tackle.
I bet that was just a yellow as well.
It's insane. Look at this. Erik Cantona.
Well, that's assault, isn't it?
Yeah. Well.
Then again, actually, Vinnie Jones used to do that to Roy Keane.
Yeah.
Roy Keane just used to get on with it. Get on with it. Dennis Wise used to do it.
Yeah.
Just kind of get on with it. Nowadays, they'd be rolling around for 10 hours. Keep going. Keep rolling.
Yeah. I did see a comment about the player we signed from the championship, Ruben Amorim. He looks a real talent. Bless him. I was screaming, "Get back, get the ball, But listen, you're 19, your first touch in the Premier League. He went and did his knee slide. We were happy for him, but it was funny though. Like, we need to get back. We need to try and get an equaliser.
We had that. Actually, do you know, funny? We had that at City, didn't we? A few weeks ago, we get the penalty. Bruno takes the penalty. Instead of getting back to, he goes to where the City fans giving it the big one, and we're like, "What are you doing?" Oh, all right, we won the game. We got lucky. We won the game. But he could tell me that stupid pose, didn't he, Charles, after he put the penalty away?
Yeah. We did. So 1 hour, 13 minutes into the show. We are 13 minutes over time, but I have to thank Rich for coming on. It's been insightful. Good to have a Palace fan coming on, and if you're around tomorrow night, feel free to shout out and jump on. If you win if you win the game, you're allowed to, or if you win the game, you're allowed to come in.
Yeah, and the sentiment is it is shared on ours as well.
He's going to be knocking on the door if you win, aren't you, Rich? Let me in.
To be honest, even if we lose, like I told people, what's the point of hiding? Just face. When you win, you lose, you lose. You get battered. It is part of the game. Talk about how you can be better. This is football. This is why we're fans and stuff. So we tend to do our match reactions the day after, so we don't have that emotive just rambling on. We like to give clear and concise. I watch the game back at times and stuff. So if any of you are free on Monday night, we're happy to have you too.
Okay. Well, to Monday night, we have a show 9 p.m. Jarvis's Corner, and it's I think it's deadline day on Monday, so we will be a hefty show live.
I forgot about that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be quite busy for us over the next
we might not be doing our match reaction then. Never mind. We got this deadline day. What
time are we doing ours tomorrow night? We're doing it after the Chelsea game, aren't we? Chelsea.
Yes. So the game is 2. So about 6 p.m.
No, City Arsenal might still be going then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we will be live
that'll be
after
a
the City
4:30
Arsenal
kickoff,
game.
won't it?
Yeah.
After City Arsenal game because So
Well,
if you want to
if I'm
jump
free, I'm happy to jump on.
yeah, jump on, Rich. Yeah, it'd be great to see you, mate.
Roshmano comes in. If I can, I will get you some footage tomorrow, Jarvis. Yes, that would be brilliant. Roshmano send me some live footage from Old Trafford, and I will show it on the show on the match reaction. Speaking of transfers, we saw this today. Fabrizio Romano, Crystal Palace are close to getting an agreement done with Chelsea's injury-prone player Ben Chilwell until June. So
good luck with that one.
So how do you feel? Do you think it will be a good signing?
No. I don't care. We've needed left back / left wing back cover for Tyreek Mitchell for 5 years. He's been playing every minute, pretty much. You know, Glasner wanted 2 signings at the start of the window, and we're just penny pinching with El Hadji Malik Diouf. And now this is our backup option. Our club's a joke. This is why we sit 12th most of the time.
When did Chilwell last play?
April, apparently, last year or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say I can't remember the last time he played. I just can't remember.
This is a joke. He's just going to get injured.
Hey, take Luke Shaw off us.
Oh my days!
Yeah, Luke Shaw is brilliant.
You know what? I would rather have us just gone and said, you know what, Kyle Walker-Peters, you're going to be a free agent in the summer. Southampton, here's 5 million. And sign him. I'm hoping it falls through. Chilwell, you said the decision's up to you. Sellers is it's a mess. It looks rubbish. There's lots of litter. There's lots of rats. Don't come, please. Just don't come to Palace, please.
But Rich, you have the crystals. It's always worth going for the crystals. Bless him.
Not Chilwell, please.
So Yalam Almin said that Palace is welcome to get Chilwell. Injury twin Luke Shaw as well. Another small update. I just want to go through. I have 3. So is this one. Marcus Rashford has agreed personal terms with Aston Villa. Deal imminent. So we talked about it. Hopefully, we will see Rashford gone before the end of this transfer window. And I just saw this today.
Good old Gabby Agbon. Is that Gabby Agbon or Rashford?
It's Rashford in 4 years. So we will see. We'll see what will happen. And we also have this from Fab negotiations on the way now with
what's crazy?
And
he's injury prone too, but I would have rather taken Malacia than
Yeah, I think so. Well, he's not injured. He had one bad injury.
That's an unusual one for Malacia, though, because he's not going to play over Fernandes, is he?
No, I don't know. But they've just recently lost. Is it Beste? Who just went for 8 million. I think it's to Frankfurt or Freiburg, one of the 2.
Okay. So it looks like we're getting rid of some players. I did some calculations. I think with us loaning out, I think it's Anthony now, Malacia and Rashford, it frees up about 400k a month for us. So it will save us about £9 million for the remainder of the season, and you know we struggle financially, so I think that's a good deal for us. Get rid of some of the players, although we pay some of their wages still. I think it was talked about 60% out of Rashford's wages is covered by Aston Villa, and 84% of Anthony's 200k a week is covered by Liability.
It's amazing by Betis, that is, isn't it? Huge. But we'll go and blow it all on Matea's tell, won't we? So.
Yeah, well, I mean, family show. I don't see us signing Tell, but I have been wrong so many times when it comes to transfers. I would rather go for a proven striker.
I think we need him. We don't need him. He's scored 1 goal in the last 12 months, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he's 19, so but he's quick. He will give another dimension when it comes to our attack. He will have both the playmaking skills of a number 10 and the threat to go in behind with his pace. So I think that's what Amorim wants.
I thought he was okay when we played him 2 years ago. I thought he scored in that 4-3 win. I thought he was okay. I didn't see anything special.
No.
He's not regular starter for Bayern, is he?
No, he's not. He plays like 10, 15 minutes here and there. But,
I don't know. What do I know?
Nah. So it's been a great show, 1 hour, 20 minutes. Thank you, guys. 68 people now watching. We have, how many likes do we have? Just going to check. We have 34 likes. It's been great. Thank you, guys. If you watch this in the rerun, smash the like and subscribe. And please give a comment in the non-live sections after the show. Give me your goal prediction for the game tomorrow and goal scorers.
Yes.
It will be interesting to see. So thank you to Das Salford, J United, Rushmano, Elite Baller, Bath Time, a lot of you, the legends coming in here and contributing to the chat. Ahmad is free from Ten Haram. Mbuna, a lot of you guys, yeah. And we have also the legend Eagle Eye Football. Haven't seen that guy before in the chats, but it's good to have you on.
Where's he gone? Do we know him?
I don't know. Well, it's been a good show, guys, girls, everybody. Smash the like, subscribe, and all that jazz. See you tomorrow after the game with the match reaction. Have a good one. Bye-bye.